Hi everybody, welcome to Homemade, where I make everything for you in my home kitchen. I'm Isabel, and today we're making crispy chicken cutlets. I grew up eating like chicken cutlets mainly with chicken parm traditionally, but since it's summertime, I wanted to make something a little bit less heavy. So we're doing like chicken Milanese style with a side salad with like fennel and herbs. It's gonna be so good, so let's get started. Things you're gonna need: chicken breast, obviously. I just use a regular boneless, skinless chicken breast because we're gonna wanna slice it in half and pound it down to get it really nice and flat. What is this called? A meat tenderizer. I just got one of these because it makes it easier, but you can also use a heavy bottom pan. I'll show you both ways, they work the same. For my dainty little wrists, this one just is a little bit easier to do than this guy here. You're gonna need a cutting board for this as well, just because no matter what surface you're working on, if you're gonna be pounding or tenderizing any meat, there are high chances of this slipping and you breaking a surface. It's happened to many people, especially if you have like a granite top or something. The last thing you want is that mallet to slip and crack off a piece of that very expensive granite. So I highly recommend another surface, which for this case is a cutting board, and then you're gonna need parchment paper as well. I'm just gonna do 2 pieces. No worries, got it. There's one. And you're gonna lay the chicken breast just in between 2 layers. You're gonna sandwich it between the parchment. We're gonna slice the meat in half first. Just because these look a little bit thicker, I'm gonna slice them thinly in half and then we're gonna pound them. Blech. So, one hand here, you're just gonna thinly slice these in half as evenly as you can. Okay. Like that. Boom. Same to the other one. They're not always going to be perfect, but that's okay. It's good enough. We're going to pound them out so they're going to flatten and spread out quite a bit. Just evenly spread them out, like so. And then we're going to add one more piece of parchment layered over top like this. Then you're gonna pound it out. Be careful when you're doing this to not go too hard because it's very easy to rip the parchment paper, but if it happens, it's no big deal. It's just avoiding the mallet touching the actual raw chicken. And I just broke the parchment as I did that. That's okay. Do either of you guys want to hit it? Just hit it as hard as you can. Anyone? No? David? Okay. We're doing this because when you're making those cutlets, this is like, it's gonna like make sure that it's a really even cook. So in order to crisp the outside but keep it cooked on the inside, pounding these really thin ensures that like when that panko toasts, it's going to be golden and crispy and you won't have to worry about the internal temperature of the chicken as much. That's what my mom used to say. Like why she would do it is because it's just the style of what a cutlet is versus like if you're cooking the chicken breast, you just throw it in there fully fat. But you get a cutlet like this. I could even go thinner than that, but that's like what I'm comfortable with just because I don't want it to be like too dry. Sometimes when it's really thin, it cooks super fast and then you get a really dry cutlet. I don't want that. Okay, so now we're gonna set up what's called a dredging station. So that is basically the process of breading the chicken. So today I'm using egg. I'm gonna use all-purpose flour. You can use any flour, a gluten-free one if you prefer. And then I'm doing panko breadcrumbs. Also, you can use like traditional Italian breadcrumbs for this if you want. I always prefer panko because I think it just gets so much crispier. It's much lighter. So you're gonna need 3 bowls. So yeah, with the bowls, we're gonna do panko in one, flour, and 2 eggs beaten in your last bowl. Oop. Okay. So all 3 of these, I've done this for other cutlet type things. I think that the flour and the panko just makes that crisp unforgettable every time. You always have your dry hand and your wet hand, and it seems so simple, but it's actually the most important piece of information ever, because if you're ever, you know, doing this and the cutlet gets wet in the egg and then you're going back to the panko, you're gonna get those clumps everywhere, and then you're losing a lot of your ingredients. So this is a really good way to avoid that, and I'll show you how. We're doing flour, egg, panko, and that's how that goes. And I'm just gonna season the panko a little bit with Italian seasoning, so like garlic, rosemary, fennel, thyme. Some people season it with like dried basil, some parsley, things like that, but I'm just gonna keep it simple. It's a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of salt, and that's it. I always say a little bit of garlic powder and then put like half the bottle in there. Okay, so the panko is seasoned. Now here's what we're gonna do. Just based on where my positioning is, we're gonna do this as the wet hand, this as the dry hand, and then we'll put all of our breaded cutlets in this pan. Here we go. In the flour first. Right into the egg. Really make sure the egg is covering all those little pockets of flour coming through. And then let the excess drip off a little bit. And then you're gonna lay that right into your panko. I like to press it in a little bit, just to make sure it's really sticking to the egg. And you're gonna do the same thing for the other ones. I just put my wet hand in the dry. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That's what you don't want. Panko all over your egg hands. Freaking amateur move. Ridiculous. I just did it again. Are you kidding? I'm like, this is insane. This is why this is homemade and I'm not claiming to be a pro. I'm not even claiming to be an amateur. I am a home cook, and these things happen, and that's fine. The chicken is breaded and ready to go. We have 4 beautiful chicken cutlets ready to be cooked. I'm gonna do it on a stovetop with some avocado oil. You can use olive oil for this too if you have a good quality olive oil. I love to use avocado oil just because it has a high smoking point. This does not need to cook at a super high temperature, but in New York apartments, I don't know, all of the smoke detectors are like 10 times more sensitive than normal ones, so I just like to be extra cautious. You can also bake these in the oven. You could air fry these probably at 400 degrees with some cooking spray, but we're gonna do this medium-high heat, shallow fry for about 3 minutes aside. I'm using a larger pan for this. You can use a smaller one, but this way I can do 2 cutlets at once. And I'm gonna put it in between like a medium-high heat, which of course depends on the oven that you have. Some are hotter than others. I believe 350 is the temperature that you want. But for this, we just guesstimate because I'm not fancy like that. Okay, sweet. Things you're gonna want over here just to be prepared. Some sort of drying rack like this. I like this because nothing is getting trapped and then soggy in the paper towel. This way it allows for full cycle drying. A good way to test if the oil is hot as well. Throw in just like a tiny bit of panko. Sometimes people throw in a little droplet of water. That scares me because oil and water obviously don't mix. So when you do that, it might go like, and it's just like scary. We don't need to do that. Right here, let's put the breast in. Always put it in away from you, like so. And then we'll do the small one too because there's plenty of room. No need to overcrowd your pan. Gorgeous. So now that the chicken's done, it's just gonna rest for a little bit. It's okay. I think it's okay that the chicken's not served like super hot. I've never really enjoyed biting into a piping hot piece of anything. But while it's sitting here, I'm just gonna dress it with a little bit of flaky salt, just while it's still got a bit of that oil. I'm also just a big salt person, which I don't know, maybe that's like, maybe I should check that. Great, so while that's sitting, we're gonna make a little salad. So I'm gonna make a very easy shaved fennel salad with fennel, of course, and then the herbs I'm using are fresh parsley, mint, dill, and then we're gonna use a shallot as well. Okay, all right, we're gonna start with the fennel. We're not gonna use any of the greens. Save these though. You can use them for other things. You can use them for dressings and things like that. I don't wanna overpower it with fennel, so we're just gonna use the bulb. Just cut the top off. I'm gonna cut it in half and then in half again, so quarters. Okay, this next thing I'm using a mandolin slicer. You don't necessarily need this. You can just, if you have the knife skills, slice it super thin. I prefer this, it's so much faster and you just get that even slice every single time. So I prefer these. Slice. So yeah, you're slicing it really thin, like so. Really be careful of your fingers, obviously. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with the shallot. You can also use red onion for this as well. I prefer shallot because I like that shallots are, again, a more muted flavor, a bit softer and a little smoother. Even though it's not as harsh as an onion, it still like burns my eye. Oh my God. As you can see here, we got the shallots and the fennel, just nicely shaved here. And now I'm just gonna add all those herbs and then we're gonna make like a really simple dressing to go in there as well. I'm also gonna use these beets, and these are pre-cooked beets, which makes it just 10 times easier. They're already boiled, so you just slice them up and they're ready to be eaten. Start with some parsley. I'm just gonna roughly chop that. Add all these to the salad. Next, we're gonna use some dill. I want this as like a plant. Wouldn't that be nice? Just using a little bit of this dill because I wanna save some of it for the beets. And then lastly, the mint. For the mint, I will say you do want to pull off the individual leaves. Fresh mint. Washa. We're just gonna do a very simple dressing now. It's gonna be a combination of grainy mustard or Dijon, and then we're gonna use an olive oil, little red wine vinegar, and a little bit of garlic. About a heaping teaspoon of mustard, just a dash of red wine vinegar, that's probably also a teaspoon, a lot of olive oil, if I have enough. Oh. A lot of dressings I'd say require like a 1/4 cup of oil, just so it's covering everything. A little bit of salt and garlic. For the garlic, I'm gonna use a very fun tool for this. I just got this at a farmer's market recently. It's a like garlic and ginger grinder. You'll never hurt your fingers or your skin with this, but it can grind down like so many things, including cheese. So cool. So naturally I bought it. I almost bought 2, but I didn't need to. So I already have this peeled garlic because I'm lazy. And you're just literally you just roll it around like this. And it just grinds down into this paste, which of course you could just mince garlic with a knife. But for a dressing, it's so nice to have it as this paste because it's hard to achieve this quickly with a knife. It comes with this little paintbrush, okay? And it gets right in there, the whole thing comes right out. How freaking sick is that? And then boom, you drop it right in. And that's it, that's your dressing. Super simple. And just mix it up. Fun tip too, you could also throw this into a jar, shake it up. Yum. Just a wee bit. Mix that up. Just lightly dressed. You don't want to drench it. I don't want to overpower it with the acidity and the dressing. So very, very, very light. Lastly, we're just going to cut up some beets and do a little combination of beets, feta, and dill. Super simple. Ugh. Just going to slice these up about this big. Throwing the beets into a bowl. Gonna add some more of that dill, just a little bit. And then just a little bit of feta. You could also use a goat cheese as well. Goat cheese goes really beautifully with beets. I love goat cheese. I'm a bigger fan of feta, so I'm just doing what I like, and you can do the same. Just crumbling that in there. Maybe just a tiny bit of oil, just to add a tad more moisture. That's it. Mix that up. Super simple little beet salad. That's all it takes. We're ready to plate. Finally. Nice, that's what it should sound like. So I'm just going to slice these into little strips and then assemble. Lovely. Cooked chicken strip. Again, when you're pounding it that thin, it's pretty hard to undercook it. And it's still got some nice juice in there as well. Okay. So good. It's so good. I could eat it just like this right off the board, but we're gonna make it look nice. Okay, gonna put that salad right next to it, and then those beets. Optional garnish, but I think it adds to the lightness and brightness. A little bit of lemon. We'll put it right in the middle, actually. Voila. That is your crispy chicken cutlet with springy, bright salads. Okay, let's see. Let's get a little bit of the salad, maybe first. Just a little bit. It's so good. It's so funny because fennel has such a strong smell, but when you mix it together with these things, it's actually just, it doesn't overpower it. It complements everything else really well. Beet. I love beets. This is a perfect dish in my mind. Love it. Okay, well that just about does it. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Isabel and this is Homemade. Everything is made in-house in my kitchen. So thanks for being here and I'll see you next time. Do it.
I have a big mouth.
Nice. Flawless. Done.
We're so good. Right?
Thank you. I can tell you he's probably at home watching this being like, she needs to turn the fan on. Again, this is the crispy chicken cutlet. Whoa.